Hi, and welcome to the Planet Driven Brands podcast. In this show, we will be discussing with our guests how brands they represent can help in the drive to build a better, more sustainable and safer planet. We will highlight brands as drivers for change and the role they play as influencers. How will brands positively impact the planet and its environment? This is what we're going to find out. Do brands actually have any responsibility to change? The Planet Driven Brands podcast, episode 20. Today's guest is Dorothy Shaver, the Global Marketing Sustainability Lead at Unilever. Today we're going to be talking about brands, sustainability and leadership. Hi Dorothy, really great to see you. I wonder if you could give us a quick introduction.
Sure. So I'm Dorothy Shaver. I sit in the global marketing team for Knorr, and I focus on sustainability, working on everything from what we do in relation to sustainable sourcing, all the way to how we communicate about foods that are better for people and better for the planet. I'm also a founding board member of the Food for Climate League, and I also recently joined the KMZero Squad.
Right, well, we've got lots to talk about then.
Yes.
I just wondered, because everybody gets the same question at the start, I'd like to get your opinion on brands and their responsibility to the planet.
So brands have an absolute responsibility to the planet, and brands have a lot more to do in this space. Because of the extremely increasing population, I think a lot of brands really just went for, high yield, getting as much out there as they possibly could. Of course, during the Industrial Revolution, that's what it was all about, is moving everything to be super efficient and to be able to feed the billions of people that were going to come on this earth and continue to. And now it's really time, and it's actually past time for brands to take the responsibility and take the opportunity in relation to their reach and their impact and their ability to communicate to the masses to really talk about the responsibility to the planet on a brand level, but also in an individual level.
How do you think they're doing?
I think that there's a big spectrum. I think some brands are doing really well. I think that others have a lot more to do. I think some of the challenges that I really see with brands is that brands are taking one issue to address and not looking at the whole system. So instead of saying, let's look at the whole kind of value chain and what we can do in planetary health and where we can play the biggest role, I think a lot of brands are saying, people care about this little piece of it, so let's focus on that, which is going to cause even more of an imbalance. So the way that I really like to talk about it, think about it, and work on it from a brand perspective is really looking at it from almost seed to plate when it comes to a food perspective, which is the space that I'm in, and really looking at, how do we do things differently from the ground all the way to the plate. And when we do that and make that come into balance between the demand and the supply, that's when we'll really be able to stand up for the planet and shift the food system for people and planetary health.
The whole process is difficult for many brands and many businesses. Clearly you work for Unilever, who've taken leadership over many years, but it's not been a simple turnaround.
So Unilever's sustainable living purpose has been around for 12 years now. And we recently launched the Unilever Compass, which really goes into looking at brands with purpose grow, companies with purpose last, and people with purpose thrive. And the whole intention is to really make sustainable living commonplace. So our role is really to play in the space of saying sustainability is everybody's business. We know that we need to make it ours, and we have for quite some time. We need to do our part, individuals need to do their part, and all of our partners need to as well. So the role is to really make sustainable living something that everybody can do. So from an accessibility perspective, from a desirability perspective, and also from an acceptability perspective, right? So to be able to say that needs to be in the price range for people to be able to get. There need to be sustainable options in every market, on every corner, and we need to make it something that people really want.
I'm going to get a bit more specific now, because when we first met in 2019, you were actually launching or had launched Future 50 Foods with WWF. So I'm looking for an update, but I'd quite like you to tell us exactly what it is as well for those people that don't know it.
Sure. So yes, 2 years ago, on February 19th, we launched Future 50 Foods. Future 50 Foods is a thought leadership piece that has been created to really raise the awareness and action around shifting the food system. So it starts by outlining the major food system issues, and then it goes on to identify 50 of the many foods that we can and should eat more of. And the intention is to use these examples of different types of foods to help shift the food system. So there's made a lot of food system issues out there. Of course, there's malnutrition. All of the foods are highly nutritious. A lot of foods take too much resource, whether it be from water, soil, land, emit too much greenhouse gas emissions, or anything in between. So these foods basically work in different ways from a nature and people perspective to help decrease kind of malnutrition while improving from an environmental side. So some of the foods can grow underwater, some of the foods can grow with little to no water, some of the foods can really help nourish the soil through nitrogen fixation, others help decrease soil erosion, and so on and so forth. So they were chosen because of their nutrient value, because of their lower environmental impact relatively to animal-based foods and also to others in their category, and also from an accessibility and acceptability perspective. So it was created to really help people understand that we really eat such few foods. 75% of the global food comes from just 12 plants and 5 animals. So we really want to raise the awareness about all the many, many, many plants and fabulous things that they can do for us.
Do you have any idea on the impact it's had and the changes that are coming as a result of it?
It's been all over the world, basically. So it's been translated, I think, now into 7 languages. Taken up by the Chef's Manifesto, which is at least 1,000 or so chefs all over the world who are working in kind of the ecosystem perspective around food. It's also been featured in a lot of different reports, such as the FAIR report, FOLU. It's also been seen on multiple grocery store websites, such as Yumbo, and also on Whole Foods. Cool. So it's reached 5.7 billion more earned media impressions in more than 95 countries, as more than 700 million media pieces. It's now a cookbook that you can buy on in the UK. It also has been featured in our World Eat for Good Day, which we had the inaugural World Eat for Good Day this February 19th, 2021, which no accident is the same day as the birth of Future 50 Foods. And on that day, we really brought Future 50 Foods to the masses via influencers, social media, recipes, and a variety of other promotions in order to really get the masses to swap out everyday ingredients for Future 50 Foods. There's a lot for us to do with Future 50 Foods still. I'm happy to say that it's in a variety of our products now all over the world. I'm also to say that Sodexo has put Future 50 Foods with Knorr into more than 10,000 kitchens. And as I said, it's been taken up by chefs all over the world. There's a couple airlines that feature Future 50 Foods. So it's taken its own wings and
wow.
Food waste.
Cool. I'm going to pivot now. And I do want to talk about Food for Climate League, of which you're a board member. Could you give us a précis of what that's all about?
I guess this was 2019 as well. And what I was realizing in all of these kind of experts and players and passionate people that are talking about food for the planet are all talking about it in different ways. And then when you look at packages or you look at promotions or communications or programs, every brand, every person, every organization is talking about food for climate or food for, planetary health in a really different way.
Yes.
How can we ever get the mass consumer to understand what it means to eat better for the planet? How do we ever get there if everybody has their own language? So what I did was I sat down with a few people actually at a coffee break, tea break, and said, what I'm seeing is this. And we all kind of were sitting together and said, wait, we can do something about this. And Eve kind of went away and came up with Food for Climate League to say, we really need to create a new food and climate narrative that really gets this kind of sustainable eating out there and enables us to utilize consumers and what they eat to actually tackle the climate crisis in a really delicious, foodie, fabulous way. And it's a not-for-profit business funded by a variety of different organizations. And we really want to create this narrative to be implemented by businesses, governments, and organizations around the world. So it is by no means branded. We've been working together with Sodexo, of course, Unilever. We've been working with WWF on a project. So we've been working with some big partners, also some small partners like Moonshot Snacks and the Future Food Institute to really create different ways of doing research to unlock the language behind motivating people to shift to food that's better for themselves and also the planet.
Can you just give me a small example of the sort of languages you've been playing with or changed?
Yeah, so working together with Sodexo, we've looked at, how do we talk about in a way that really gets people to want to eat them? Do we just say black bean lasagna? Or do we say, or is it, mama's cozy old fashioned lasagna and happens to have beans? A new twist on an old dish? Or how do we bring that to life for different audiences?
Yeah, I get it.
So there's a variety of different elements that we're coming out with and a lot of different insights. And some of them are available on the website already and others will be soon.
Okay. Now I'd like to talk about KMZero Squad. That's something that came on my radar earlier this year. And I was just like, oh, what's this? This looks really interesting.
KMZero Squad, the idea is for all of us to get together and have kind of future-facing, innovative ways to address food system issues. Whether the food tech startups are working with artificial intelligence or, the food industry, which of course I'm a part of, and, looking at technology and a variety of different solutions to help address food system issues. And that's the intention of the hub. I just joined, so I was part of a session about regenerative agriculture, which, Unilever just launched the regenerative agriculture principles, which I am very passionate about and very much a part of. And the food brands are doing some really great pilot programs on that. So I was able to feed in that perspective.
Okay, one last question. What do you see 5 years' time looking like?
So I want us all to be varietarians. I have a very optimistic outlook generally, and I really hope that in 5 years, the population doesn't grow enormously. And in the meantime, people become significantly more conscious about their impact from a food perspective, understanding that it is the single strongest lever that we can pull for human and planetary health. And so one, I hope everybody realizes the impact they can make through food. Two, the realization is actually that it can be the most delicious revolution ever. So the impact is through food, and the way to make the most positive impact is to eat a wider variety of foods, which is better for you, better for the planet, can have can cost, doesn't have to cost a lot of money, and also can be absolutely delicious and create a wonderful experience on the plate and in the body, while allowing nature to do what it does best, which is working with the plants together to really create a sustainable environment.
The most delicious revolution ever. What a great way to end.
Yeah.
Love it. Love it. I love your optimism and passion. It's amazing. It really is.
Thank you. Thank you.
Yeah, Dorothy, thank you ever so much for your time. That was really, really great.
Yes, absolutely delighted to be here, and congratulations on the podcast. And I hope to speak to you soon.
Thank you very much. All the best. Yes,
thank you. Take care.
Good luck. Bye-bye.
Bye.
That was the energy. It was Dorothy Shaver. Thank you so much. Thank you for listening. We hope you enjoyed the show. The Planet Driven Brands podcast is the brainchild and copyright of Nick Jones and is broadcast in partnership with planetsagency.com. Planets Agency is a partnership of consultants and communications experts. We build planet-driven brands. During the series of shows, we'll be hearing from more experts, and we would love for you to be involved. Please do comment or come back to us with questions. We'll be happy to engage. If you wish to be notified when our episodes are broadcast, please subscribe on the website. If you'd like to be part of the show, we'd love to hear from you. We look forward to many more entertaining episodes. Thanks again for listening.